There's a lot of holes in the desert, and a lot of problems are buried in those holes.
Hey, Wonderhussy here, standing at the side of US 95, about to check out a place I've been wanting to look at for quite some time. It's the unofficial Las Vegas Pet Cemetery. Now you can see this place is right off the side of the highway. But you can also see that you're not allowed to bury pets here anymore. Look at this sign. Stop! There's a shovel with a line through it. Wow, so they really don't want you burying pets here anymore. I don't know why they decided to crack down on it. Maybe the desert was getting to be too full of holes. But anyway, I think we should hike in there and check it out. It doesn't say anywhere that you can't go in and look at the already buried pets. It's really sad when you stop and think about all these generations of Las Vegans who used to come out here to bury their pets. I mean, technically, this pet cemetery is in Boulder City. It's within the Boulder city limits. But back in the day, this was basically like the middle of nowhere desert. You gotta remember, like nowadays, Vegas goes pretty much up to the other side of that mountain. But you know, back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, maybe even 80s, this was like way out in the middle of nowhere. So it probably seemed like a pretty good place for people to come bury their pets. But it's interesting to think of all the generations of showgirls and craps dealers and, well, mafia hitmen and who all knows who came out here to bury their pets. But look, we already made it to some of the graves. And this thing looks like it's really big. I mean, there's a whole bunch of graves there and they go way back into the distance that way. So we have a lot of ground to cover. We better get going. Now, unfortunately, this part of the graveyard looks pretty old. All this wood is so weathered that there's, well, not much information legible anymore. You can kind of see what that says. What does that say? Aw, Cheeky! I wonder what kind of a pet Cheeky was. I mean, it sounds more like a cat than a dog, but then again, it could have been a pot-bellied pig. Oh, look at this one. Penny Pawn, 1951 to 1984. Wow, I wonder what kind of animal Penny Pawn was. I mean, if it lived from 51 to 84, that's 33 years. That's really long for an animal. Did I read that right? Oh no, it's 1964. Holy cow, that is an old grave. Oh my God. I mean, it's sad, but it's also fascinating to think about who came out here in 1964 and buried little Penny Pawn. You know, I picture it being some beautiful showgirl, but, you know, it could have just been anyone, a grocery store clerk or a, you know, mailman. Remember, it's not all casinos in Vegas. There's also, like, regular people living there and regular services, so could have been anyone. Oh, no, look at this one. Wow, whoever had Patsy really loved that animal because, whew, that's a really nice headstone. That wasn't cheap. I mean, I guess Patsy was like some long, white-haired, like Abyssinian cat that belonged to some mafia dude's mom. And of course, when Patsy died, they gave her a really fancy burial. What's this? Trey Amante, 1949 to 1964. The best pal I ever had. Oh my gosh, that's heartbreaking. I hope this doesn't make me sad being here. I'm already feeling a little melancholy. All these dead animals. Okay, yikers indeed. Look at this one. It looks like either somebody came back to dig up their pet after the fact, or somebody's pet clawed its way out of the grave. It's like a zombie cat or a zombie dog. Yikes. Okay, wow, here's a really nice one. Look at this. It's like a granite headstone. September 10th, 1961 to April 10th, 1966. Martini Wiener. Beloved puppy of Doc Wiener. Oh my God, okay, if anyone watching this knows anything about Doc Wiener and little Martini Wiener, please email me and let me know. Or comment below, because, wow. Here's another fancy one. Flash, son of Rin Tin Tin, IV. Lived a life of loyalty and friendship. February 25th, 1957 to December 15th, 1966. Oh, died right before Christmas. If there was kids in that family, I bet they had a terrible Christmas that year. Ruff Banks, the beloved pet of Bob and Janice. Aw, I wonder if Bob and Janice are even still alive anymore. Toby, 1 year old. Aw, look how cute though. Look at the grave. It's a heart. Oh my gosh, it lasted all those years. That's like, holy cow, that's like over 50 years old. Dang. Look at this one. I'm not sure you'll be able to read it, but it says Rags Jorgensen. It's interesting how there's like these pet names actually kind of show you the ethnic diversity of how Vegas was back then, because Jorgensen is right next to my boy Ruben Frazzini. I'm gonna guess the Jorgensens were probably statuesque Scandinavians. You know, Mrs. Jorgensen was probably some kind of showgirl. And then the Frazzinis, well, anyone who's ever seen a Martin Scorsese movie can pretty well guess what the Frazzinis were up to. Aw, look here. Our little angel Dookie. I don't mean to laugh, but maybe Dookie didn't have the same meaning back then as it does now. Oh wow, look at this. R.I.P. Kitty. 1978 to 2001. Oh, that's kind of newer. 2 handprints in it. Aw. Wow, that was a long life for a cat, right? 23 years? Dang. I'm assuming it was a cat. I mean, this being Vegas, now that I think about it, Kitty might actually be a woman. Oh, that's actually the perfect place to bury a dead bodies in a pet cemetery. No one would be the wiser. Some poor missing showgirl named Kitty might be buried here. Yikes. Aw, look, this one's cute. Little Mick. Looks like it probably used to say Little Mike. Oh wow, and then look. I mean, it's litter, but it's a really old pop tab from some old beer can. Oh, maybe Little Mick's owner used to come out here and drink a beer every year on the anniversary of Little Mick's death or birth. Okay, here's kind of an interesting one. Beloved Bobo Renus. Wow, what a name. There once was a man named Renus who had a very large cat named Bobo. Look at this one. Tinkerbell. Beloved pet, died in 71. And then look, it's another, well, I was gonna say it looks like another zombie pet that escaped from the grave, but the more I think about it, I mean, we're out here in the desert. There's probably all kind of coyotes running around here. I mean, I don't know how you would stop a coyote from digging up your freshly buried pet. Ooh. Uh-oh, look at this one. It's hard to read, but I think it says Niggs Taylor. Boy, that kind of reminds me of the video I made out the Hoover Dam. I think I called it Awkward Hoover Dam Construction Dog Memorial or something like that. I'll put a link to it up there. If you're not easily offended, check it out. Okay, here's a really interesting one. It's interesting for a couple reasons. Well, the pet's name was Marcel Young, and he lived 11 years, died in 1968. But apparently Marcel Young was Jewish, and the owners put this awesome quote at the top. Those were the days, my friend. Aw, remember that song? Those were the days, my friend. We thought they'd never end. That's all I can sing before I have to pay royalties. Aw, look, here's a newer one. Mama. Mama lived from 2000 to 2019. Wow, long life for a pet. And then what's this thing on the headstone? I mean, I know it's a mirror, obviously, in the middle, but I don't know if that stuff is all around the end. It's like Chinese stuff. Oh, maybe some Chinese people owned this pet. Oh, I was about to make a very offensive comment about Chinese people and dogs, but I'll just keep it to myself. Okay, here's a pretty substantial one. Scooter Littlefield. She gave her love unselfishly. Oh, that is just sweet. Okay, wow, look over here. This is sad. This is like the top of a dog kennel that's just sort of buried in the desert. It's like they just carried their dog out here in the friggin' crate and buried it. Good bones are probably in there. Aww. Okay, wow. Here lies little Gracie. And then I'm not sure who was buried next to Gracie, but whoever it was, name's worn off, liked Crown Royal, apparently. Wow, that's pretty impressive for an animal. Okay, wow, look at these. Lump. somebody whose name is lost to time, and Mr. Winky. Oh gosh, look at this one. Rosie, the best family dog ever. Died in 2012. Rest in peace. That's sweet. Look, they even looks like they even kind of like concreted it over or plastered it over. Aww. No coyotes are gonna dig up Rosie, that's for sure. Okay, wow, look at this. I'm not sure what kind of animal it was or any information about the animal itself, but the owners of the animal apparently really liked Star Wars. It's an old Star Wars t-shirt. Or I don't know, maybe that's not an old t-shirt. If it was a real old Star Wars t-shirt, it'd probably be totally ruined by now, but I don't know, it looks kind of old. Oh gosh, wow, now this is interesting. This is a very dry desert, but we just came upon this big puddle, and it hasn't rained in quite a few days, so I don't know what's going on here. It's a pretty substantial amount of standing water down there. Weird. It's almost like there's some kind of creek that runs through this old cemetery. Interesting. I didn't know there was a spring or a creek over here. Can you imagine though if you were stranded in the desert and this cemetery water was all you had to drink? But you were so thirsty that it didn't matter. You drink anything up to and including haunted cemetery water, which is probably at least 90% ghost pee. Oh, look at this. Wow, I wonder if that's St. Francis. Wasn't he the patron saint of animals? I don't know my saints very well. Anybody recognize him? Was that what St. Francis looked like? Oh, look at these guys. Charlie. Lurch, I love you. And Wiener Face. Oh, he got some Coors Light cans on his grave. Oh gosh, look, this is sort of like a mass pauper's grave. I don't know if all these animals are buried in here or what, but it says Dennis, Wee Gang, Pepe, Boo Boo, Exidor, Tiger, Angie, Johnny, Bucker, Bob, Misty, Lulu, Face, Princess, Bear, Bella, Pepper, and Sarah. Boy, that almost sounded like beat poetry. Oh, look, no coyotes are going to dig up these guys. Their owners were smart and put cages over the top. Unless maybe those are buried hamsters. Okay, here's a really cute little threefer. We got Stanley, who ruled the neighborhood for 15 years. And then we have Baby Shamu. Your paws left prints on my heart for 17 years. I love you forever. And then look at this one. Vanilla Woofer. What's up, little pup? My best friend. I love you forever. Oh man, that's what I love about pets is like people will give them these goofy names like Vanilla Woofer, and I guarantee whoever owned that dog talked to that dog in baby talk like, what's up, little pup, Vanilla Woofer? You know, and he could have been some big thug by day, some jerk swaggering about town, you know, running red lights. But when he got home to his little Vanilla Woofer, he was just a big teddy bear. That's what's great about pets. They bring out the best in us. Oh no, look, somebody actually brought the little doghouse out here and buried the dog in or with. It's Doghouse. Aww. No name or anything. No telling what's inside that doghouse now. Wow, and look at this one. I'm guessing the dog itself probably didn't like to drink beer that much. But who knows? Oh, and it's cute too. Wrapped around the bottle in the middle is this dog's collar. Oh, that's like the saddest thing when you see a dog's collar and the dog isn't there anymore. Oh, look at this one. Not much to it, just two sticks sort of tied together with baling wire. But it still says a lot about the person who owned that animal, that they took the time to come out here and bury it and twist those two sticks together. You know, maybe they didn't have money to, well, even buy a couple of 2x4s. Oh, now look at this one. Looks like they were out here fairly recently with this Christmas wreath. It's still so colorful. But look what it says. I know the shadows are kind of funky right now, but it says, Howard, 1990 to 2011. The best doggone putty tat there ever was. Oh, that's so cute. Okay, I just found a grave that's really interesting, but it's in SFW. So if you have kids watching with you, you might want to cover their ears and eyes. Look at the name of this dog or cat. Shitty. I'm guessing that animal probably pooped in the house one too many times and That's how it got its name. Oh, look at this one. Jasper. Oh, my parents used to own a dog named Jasper. This one's for you, Mom. Oh gosh, look at this one. Looks like Frisky was very well loved. I mean, Frisky had a lot of toys and stuffed animals, apparently. And how did they stop all these stuffed animals from getting dragged off or blown away? I don't know. It's interesting. And then what's really creepy is this. Yikers. Okay, wow, look at this. This giant iron cross. I don't know if this was like some biker's dog or a Nazi dog or what. Let's see. What does it say? Well, it was two. Chemo and Blue. Father and son. Well, can't tell much about them, but I guess they were badasses. They're probably two chihuahuas. Okay, this one's kind of interesting. It says Fatums, born 92, died 93. There's a little, memorial to Fatums. But then on the back side, I noticed, I feel like somebody just sort of hijacked this headstone and used it for their pet. Here lies Jojo. And then there's just a rock that says Jojo. They probably brought their pet in here and just decided to make use of the unused backside of that gravestone. Which, now that I think about it, is pretty dang clever. I mean, I don't know why people don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, headstones are expensive. And why not use the backside? I mean, if you think about it, you go to a graveyard, most of the headstones are just blank on the back. Why not bury people back to back? Like, especially if it's a husband and wife or, family members. But even if it's strangers, I would have no problem splitting that expense with a total stranger. Those headstones can be thousands of dollars. Okay, wow. I actually looked through that entire cemetery at every single grave. I don't know. It just seemed rude to leave any of them out, But as depressing as this location is in a way, I find it oddly heartening. Because people, myself included, like to bag on Vegas and, make fun of the people that live in Vegas and they're just a bunch of thugs and hustlers. Or that it's a transient town and no one stays here and there's no sense of community. And, well, to be honest, yes, all of those things are true. But this graveyard shows that the people of Las Vegas also have really big hearts and really care about their animals. And as you can see from, some of these pets lived long lives. I don't know if they lived all of their lives in Vegas. They might have moved here, I suppose. But the fact that some of these people built such elaborate graves shows that they probably intended to come out here and visit for years to come. So I guess maybe Vegas isn't as transient as people like to say it is. There's a lot of people who made their lives here, Anyway, this whole experience has made me, kind of sad and moody about my own pets. I mean, I had a dog named Stubby that I lost back in 2013. He unfortunately died of liver cancer, and he was sweet. The reason his name was Stubby is because he was half German Shepherd and half Corgi. I got him at the pound. He looked like a little German Shepherd with his legs cut off. He had little stubby legs, so we named him Stubby. And I had him for, I adopted him in 2008, and he was about 5 years old then. And I had him for 5 years, so he was at least 10 when he died. And he was a sweetie. There was only two downsides to Stubby, I'll be honest with you. He did have downsides. One, he unfortunately emitted some sort of really stinky musk on his head. So, even though you wanted to always scratch his forehead, his pate, kiss it, you always smelled real skunky afterwards. And two, he wasn't very emotionally supportive. I actually had Stubby at a very challenging time in my life. Anytime I started crying, he would leave the room. I used to have a dog door in my bedroom at my old house, which I was in the process of losing the house to long story, but I ended up having to short sell it. My own fault. Anyways, in the master bedroom there was a dog door, and anytime I started to cry because everything just got to be too much, I'd hear this whoosh, and there was the dog door flapping. Stubby had gone away. So he wasn't very emotionally supportive, and he was stinky. But other than that, he was a great dog. And I'm sure a lot of you also have dogs that you've lost and that you've had to bury or had put down. And let's just all take a minute to remember all our special pets that we've had. And let's all take this opportunity to give the pets we currently have a big hug and a big kiss. In fact, that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna get straight in my car, drive home, and give a big ol' hug to Fred and Noonie. Freddie! I love you, mister. I'm gonna give you the biggest hug. Now let's get the cat. Where's that cat? I think I know where she hangs out. Noonie! Aww.